Episode 37 of the Tool Bag Zug Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Sebastian Caballero. Second episode of our new segment, Ktfo. It is our segment that covers all UFC events, which means we got to talk about what happened this past weekend. As you remember, the last time we were here, we were discussing our predictions of UFC 251, which again happened this past weekend. A lot of these guys have a lot to say. I know Frank's got a lot to say, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to step out of the way and let these guys take over. Go ahead, guys.
Nick, I told you that Usman would ragdoll Masvidal, which we all saw happen. And Chris also told you that me and Jake were right. So
Yes, sir.
I'm not so surprised about that. But also, you guys were kind of right about Volkanovski, so I got to watch what I say tonight because I got that coming back at me. But other than that,
chill, hold on. I don't mean to stop you there, but
go ahead.
we got to touch up that topic you just said about ragdoll. We got to hit the topic.
Hold up.
Correct, because I can't believe you're talking about my dog like that.
Let's go in chronological order, boys.
Hold on.
We'll get to the good stuff in a little bit.
Every round.
Nah, I give him round
What?
one.
All right, wait, hold on.
Oh.
No. Let's
round
bring this back. Let's start this from the get-go. We'll lead up and we'll load up to the nice juicy stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about UFC 251 recap. Biggest winners, biggest losers. All right, Frank, I don't need to see the little whisper there. But biggest winners, biggest losers, what's next, and just biggest takeaways. First off, UFC 251, first fight of the night, Amanda Ribas. I finally found out how to say her last name correctly now, against Paige Van Zandt. Jake, Chris, I told you so. Frank and I were up on that one, as you saw. Easy money. Performance of the night, in my opinion. Hell of a fucking armbar. She worked quick, about 2 minutes in. Next thing you know, she's caught an armbar. She went after the injured arm, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I got nothing to say about that one. You know,
I
think she's cute.
Paige. I thought she looked really nice that night, but I was not expecting that performance from her.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man.
Off the Bellator for Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, let's go ahead. What's next for both of them? I think Paige Van Zandt on her way out. Maybe she gets
Bellator. She's gonna head to Bellator now.
Yeah. So what's next for the up and coming Amanda Ribas, as we predicted? She's definitely looking good in the strawweight division. So we'll go ahead and actually kind of want to look at that strawweight rankings.
She was 14 before that. She was 14 before that fight.
She's definitely gonna. I think. Go ahead.
She'll be going up in the rankings. So like I don't know, maybe like a top 10 opponent would be probably ideal.
I think she needs to get somebody in the top 10 to crack her open, but that was a very big win on her resume, just to get a well-known name. So, you know, maybe somebody like Nina Antaroff, maybe Claudia Godel, number 6 and 7. I don't know how to say her last name, but I'll go ahead and give her that chance. But she looked very impressive. I think she might have took one shot. Next thing you know, little judo slam. Great slam, by the way. And caught her in the armbar, game over. So, great fucking performance by her. And Amanda Ribas, 1-1. Frank 1-1. You guys went 1-1 there. So we're going on. Move on to the next one.
You know who I would throw her against?
Say one more
I
time.
would throw her against the Karate Hottie. That would be a good fight.
Ooh.
Ribas versus Karate Hottie. That'll be
Yeah.
pretty easy.
I like that.
That is actually a pretty good fight. Oh, she definitely has a couple.
I wouldn't be mad.
She's won her last 3 fights.
That was a good beginning, man. And she really just proved to the fact that she's just better. But we'll go ahead and we'll see where she goes from there. I definitely think she needs to crack top 10. Paige will probably be on her way out of the UFC, and I think that's all she wrote for Paige Van Zandt. So moving on to the next fight, we'll go a little bit more above in the strawweight division. We had Thug Rose, and we had Jessica Andrade. All of us went with Thug Rose, but that fight got a little too close to the end. As long as I don't know if you guys want to agree with that. Got a little too close. I definitely see Thug Rose. I think they got to give her Zhang. I think it's just what's meant. That's 1 and 2. And then, but I'm not going to go ahead and, as much as I do not like Jessica Andrade, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt just because she came out in that third round and made things a lot closer than it seemed. I think she might have had the best round out of them too, even though Rose looked good on her feet, good technical-wise. But just landing those couple punches right there and bruising up Thug Rose was just not a good look at the end. But I definitely see, maybe in the future we'll probably see Jessica Andrade, Thug Rose, round 3 for the trilogy. Even up. Just get the third round. Who's a better fighter at the end of the day? I think there could be an argument, but I definitely see Thug Rose take her against Zhang. Maybe you bring Joanna against Jessica Andrade, and then you let those two go in. That's just my take.
Nick, I agree with you. I really do think that Thug Rose is going to be next for Weili Zhang. I don't know if you saw this, but Weili Zhang on her Instagram posted a congratulations to Thug Rose.
Oh.
So I don't know, maybe like the competitor in her, that's a little bit of a call out. Like, I want to fight the former champ. You know what I'm saying? I think Weili Zhang would win. I don't think there's a woman at 115 that will beat her.
Too.
Joanna was the closest. That was a scrap, but I like to see Thug Rose versus Weili Zhang next, a couple months from now. That'd be ideal.
Honestly, those first 2 rounds, she really she came out with such beautiful technique. I feel like she just has to address. I don't know why she's used to 5 rounds instead of 3. I don't know why she weakened so much on that third. But honestly, if she keeps that pace that she had in the first 2 against who's the champion that Zhang, she could probably give it to her until the 5th round, to be honest.
Yeah, I happen to agree. She started off, beginning, middle, first 2 rounds of the fight. She was taking it to her. She looked really good out there. And then it just wasn't a great look, like Nick said, in that 3rd round, how she kind of started to coast. And she, I guess, might not have taken it, as serious because she probably knew she had the first 2 rounds locked up. So, I mean, she's going to get a test with Zhang if that fight happens. So she's going to need to, step it up for the later rounds.
Definitely. I do agree. I honestly was not a fan of Jessica Andrade. That's my biased reasoning. But I do think Jessica Andrade did prove that she's a top 5, maybe top 3 strawweight, just right behind Thug Rose. It's a very tough predictor. Thug Rose did knock out Joanna. She's beat Joanna twice. First one by knockout, second one by unanimous decision. So I definitely see Thug Rose really coming out and having maybe a little bit better fight. But I don't know, part of me, from seeing how Zhang threw those punches against Joanna in that fight, I'm surprised Joanna stood up, and just the will and the heart that she has is what took her to end that fight and make it that much close. But I don't think Thug Rose pushes it. It's close to say, but it's definitely going to be another 5-round, slugfest. And, maybe Thug Rose has the heart of Joanna and, we'll be on another fight on our hands. And I think definitely you got to put Joanna and Jessica Andrade together because that's going to be a nice showdown. So
Nick, I don't know if you saw this, but on one of Joanna and J-Check's pictures the other day on Instagram, she did #retired life. I hope it's not true. She's one of my favorite
shit.
female
No, I didn't pay attention to that. That hurts. I love her, bro. She's one of my favorites.
Right now, I'm looking for it right now. I'll send it to you. But,
Well, then, the next on that list would be Tatiana Suarez, undefeated 8-0. And then you got Nina, who's another one there, too.
Nina's tough.
That's strawweight, right?
Yeah, that's strawweight. They're all in strawweight. So definitely that. I mean, it's tough. That strawweight division is definitely going to be something to look forward to in the next few months and so, because you got a definitely. I didn't know J-Check was done, so that kind of hit me by surprise. I really love J-Check.
I don't know if he's done. I'm just saying. I saw that on social.
It's just a possibility. Maybe it's a rumor. Who knows? Or maybe that's just a big promo. We'll get. Yeah, exactly. That could be it. That could be true. All these fighters saying all this shit before, so that's one thing too. But we'll go ahead and I guess we're gonna have to see in the next couple months what's really gonna happen. But we definitely agree Thug Rose against Zhang. That's the next fight that needs to happen. So moving on to the card, we had Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. I'm gonna go ahead and say, even though the fight should have been stopped maybe 45 seconds to a minute early, I want to give major props to Jose Aldo because nobody thought that man was gonna step, till that late. He looked good in the first couple rounds, and I think before that 5th round happened, he was kind of close. He was losing, but to fight that good against Peter Yan and to fight that patient and had, props out to Yan. To Yan to just come in and just give him, just to keep his like mentality there and not just like open up too quick and get caught. He stayed in there. He stayed true to himself, and he finally caught Aldo at the end, which was big. I'm not going to go ahead, and I know the biggest takeaway of this fight is that the fight should have got stopped early, and I totally agree with that. But the one thing I want to go in, I was having an argument with my brother about this. The fight was close. This is the 5th round. And I'm not trying to say that I'm on Mike McCarthy's side, but I don't want to bash out Mike McCarthy because Mike McCarthy is known for that fight that happened with Chi Congo that I was talking on the last podcast, that Congo is rocked twice, gets up, knocks this guy. I forgot his name. It's going to piss me off, but I know you guys should know what I'm talking about. He knocks him out, gets – Mike McCarthy was the ref on that card. And I know a lot of fighters, Dominic Cruz just did it against Cejudo. He complained that the fight was stopped too early. So my argument on Mike McCarthy's side is that fight was kind of close, getting to the 5th round until he gets punched and he starts getting laid down on the ground. It looks like his hands are down. He's covering himself. But my only argument, just to back up Mike McCarthy, is just that a lot of fighters always have this argument that they like to, blame the rest for stopping fights too early. So I think Mike McCarthy gave Jose Aldo, especially a legend a legend fighter, a champion, the benefit of the doubt to just get up and maybe finish the fight and not look so bad getting TKO. Maybe he gets up, drops to his back. I don't know, but I just gonna go ahead and just say, don't bash Mike McCarthy. That's just my take.
I agree with you. I think that was, first off, a very good fight. Like, Jose Aldo won the 2nd round, in my opinion. I didn't think he was going to win any rounds. I thought he would have been knocked out by the 2nd or 3rd round. And to the fact that he made it to the 5th really shocked me. I feel like a prime Jose Aldo chopping down with leg kicks. You see, he spun Peter Yan like a top.
Yeah, man, that shit was hard.
Yeah, that was dope.
He hasn't fought like that in a while, so it was nice to see that from Aldo. But at the end of the day, Peter Yan is a train. Like, get out of the way. He's on the tracks, baby. Like, he's coming. I don't know who's going to beat that man in 35. He could be champ for a while. Like, that man, unreal. But what I think next is for Peter Yan is obviously Aljamain Sterling. Like, that fight sells itself.
Agree.
2 best men, in my opinion. And then for Aldo, I would love to see him fight Dominic Cruz. I think that fight should have happened a long time ago from the WEC. I want to see it again. Aldo could take time off if he wants. He's 33. I don't think he'll be getting a title shot ever again. But, yeah, I think that fight makes sense for both guys.
I like that. That's a good 2 fights. How about you guys? You guys agree on that?
Yeah, I have to agree on that. I would just – my biggest takeaway from watching that fight was just – you got to give props to Aldo, man. He showed some heart sticking in there and battling it out against, Peter Yan. And then my second take is, Peter Yan is he's just a force to be reckoned with. He is not fazed by anything. He just takes it to him the whole time, and that's what it's been like, on his streak and in all the matches all the fights he's winning, So those are my 2 takeaways.
What I really liked about that fight, man, I don't know if you guys noticed at the end of the 1st round, Peter Yan was playing his little foot game where he kept attacking Aldo's his front leg. And in 2nd round, Aldo started doing it right back to him. So once he hits the 3rd round, Peter Yan had to switch his stance and he had to fight the rest of the fight southpaw. So they were playing like a little type of multi-fight where they were like this in front of themselves the whole time. And they were literally just striking at each other. They weren't really trying to take each other down. They were just striking like within a box. So I really liked how they really just stood in front of each other and they really just gave us a fight that we actually wanted to see.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree that fight was a lot better than everybody expected. I really agree with Frank's takes. I think that's the best fight for Jose Aldo next, money-wise. And just, 2 legends that are just in their end of their careers. Might as well give them the chance to just make them both go at it. We'll probably get a good fight out of it, and we'll see who's the best at that type of weight class. Those are 2 past champions. I really would like to see that fight personally, and I think that's a very good call out. Definitely Sterling against Yan, that's what it is, and that's going to be another good fight because exactly how we saw in the main event, a wrestler just like Sterling against a fucking powerhouse boxer, fucking guy like Peter Yan. That's going to be something to see, and I definitely think it's the next step in Yan's thing. Yan just had the biggest win of his career right now against Aldo, in my opinion. So this fight coming up against Sterling is going to be another big test for him to pass. So let's go ahead and see that. That's going to be a very good fight. I definitely think Jan is the man though in that division, bro. I'm still going to go by that. So
Agreed.
going ahead, moving on to the co-main event, Max Holloway, Volkanovski. I know we went with Volkanovski here. Me, Jay, Chris, we went with that one. Very, very confident that he was gonna win. But after I saw that fight, I was very surprised. I think it's just crazy. Dana White said it in a post-fight conference that they have to do something with the referees and the judges. I know some champions get the benefit of the doubt in close fights, but I don't think that fight was that close enough to give it to Volkanovski in the sense because the first 2 rounds, you get 2 knockdowns from Max. Yeah, Volk kind of closes the door on him towards the second half of the fight, and he scores a couple takedowns, but I was telling myself, I'm like, did those knockdowns go unrecognized? And then a part of me is like, you give this to Volk, but you just shut out Max. Like we're gonna be talking about who's next for Max, and I don't even know. Like I don't even want to. The only person I wanted to see what's next for Max was Volk because I really think Max wins that fight, and then we go to the trilogy, that I'm pretty sure the fans want. I'm pretty sure both those guys won. They just went 10 rounds with each other in 2 fights. You don't think they're going to do it again for the next 5? And someone's going to have to make a difference. Someone's going to have to get aggressive. Someone's going to have to make a sacrifice in order to really create some type of spark of who's better. Because both you guys are really just that close neck and neck at each other. And I don't know. I know I went for Volkanovski on the fight before, and I called it. I know we got a 3-1 favorite there, but I'm just going to go ahead and just say I think Max got robbed on that fight.
I think. Go ahead, Jake.
No, I'm just saying I couldn't agree more. It's you just gotta think back and try to look at it from the judge's perspective. I just can't really, explain how maybe they thought takedowns way more than knockdowns.
Yeah, man.
And I was watching ESPN, after for the recap, and they were very disgruntled, and they brought up that same argument. And personally, takedowns are tough to get and they're cool and all, but I think it's a little bit tougher to knock someone down, multiple times. So I do also think he got robbed, and
yeah, fucked up.
Okay, so here's my major thing. There needs to be a change in the commissions throughout the world. I think these judges need to go. No more boxing judges. The system needs to change. Like Max Holloway won that fight. He clearly won the first 3 rounds, in my opinion. I think Volk took 4 and 5, if you want me to be honest. But Max Holloway got robbed, highway robbery. I lost so much money gambling because the Abu Dhabi commission. It's ridiculous. I think Max. God, I don't even know what's next for both guys.
Well, coming in from that division, sucks, man, because I really think there should have been a trilogy just because you got Korean Zombie and fucking this guy Brian Ortega going at each other. Well, supposedly it still hasn't been confirmed yet. And then you got Calvin Kattar against Zabit. I think who's the winner of that fight is going to be your number
Yair versus Zabit.
Huh?
We have Yair Rodriguez versus Zabit.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. You're right.
Against Dan Inge.
Yes, I fucked up. Yeah, that's right. Dan Inge against Kattar. And then you got Zabit is fighting who? Who is it again?
Yair Rodriguez.
Yair Rodriguez. That's going to be a good fucking fight too, bro.
Bro,
fuck.
What do you do with Max? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. He's stuck there in the middle. So I find it fucked up. That's fucked up. You really ruined that guy's. What are you gonna do? Give him the 3rd fight, but then there's always this argument that he's just down 2-1, and it just kind of fucks him up.
New champion. They're not gonna give him the 3rd time. He's got to wait.
UFC fucked up there, bro.
I mean, it's not even the UFC. It's the commission.
The judges.
The judges, yeah, but they don't belong to the UFC. They belong to the commission of Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that was just bad, man. That's simply you could tell Dana knew that fucking fight was robbed by just his fucking saying that. He subtweeted it.
But,
that's fucked up.
That fight broke my heart that night because I would have been 5 for 5. Your boy would have been in first place. So that just set the mood for the rest of the night. And then with the main event, I was just so pissed that it didn't even matter that I was right.
I just think that from listening to Joe Rogan, I think they should implement having at least more than 3 judges, because a lot of referees might make mistakes just because they're not really paying attention, or maybe they are paying attention, but they're not really picking up on those little details that other experts know about. And yeah, man, I feel like, say you make it like a 5 referee, maybe 7 referee. That way you get a variety choice of who would probably win.
Yeah, I just think that they need new referees who know what the hell they're watching, like former UFC fighters or retired like mixed martial artists, like someone who knows what they're watching, because they have Joe Schmo doing whatever, and now they're fucking up UFC plans. Like, Max should have won that fight. Obviously, we all think so. So then you can run the trilogy. Like the trilogy's gonna bring money to the UFC. Like
Exactly,
the commission fucked up big, in my opinion.
Huge thing. Like, you just put Max in a bubble now. But I agree, man. I can't agree anymore with both of you guys on the bring some former UFC like people who know the fight game, people that have been there and done that, especially for God knows X amount of years. But those guys go in there, they'll give you a better take, and then those guys risk their fucking lives all the time in the octagon. You think they're really trying to fucking really go ahead and make an impression? And then gets caught and now ruins his chances? No. He let Volk creep in, close out a little bit better than he should, but it wasn't to the point that his margin of error was that off that he's lost the fight. So it's bullshit. Definitely agree. UFC is going to take a big hit on this because they would have made a lot of money in the trilogy. Then you're the 2 other guys that you had in that same division fighting for that number 1 contender spot, Ainge, B, Cater, and I can't think of the other guy. But basically, those 2 fights will go ahead and you could literally have the winners of each fight each other, and then there you go. You make your number 1 contender. And as those 2 fights, you give some time for Volk, Holloway, get back, get together, and then just move on from there. So it was sad. That was like the only biggest thing in that fucking that card that just drove me insane. Because even though I said Volk, it was just you don't like to see a guy get robbed like that. He looked good. He looked too sharp. But moving on to what the people want to hear. My man Jorge Masvidal, gangbred, suffered a big loss. It was tough. As you can see, I still ride and die with my culture, with my clan. Shout out to the U chat. I know they're watching. But I got to go ahead and just say it was tough to watch, especially for every person in the 305. But before I let you guys steer me in and just ragdoll me with words and just straight up just light me up, because I know I deserve it. I know I was hard on the first podcast, and I know I deserve it. And I know I'm ready for it. But I'm just going to go ahead and give you the take before you guys fuck me up. So this is my tale to take. I hate to bring up the 6-day notice, but the little cardio, I also blame that on the cutting 23 pounds in 5 days. I think that has a lot to do with it. As much as people don't want to say it, I think that fucks up a person as a fighter. He probably didn't have good nutrition coming into the fight. I know it sounds like a fucking pussy-ass excuse, and he didn't even use it. I'm using it for him. I'm a big fan. I know I sounded biased before coming in there. Usman did his job. He fought his fucking game. You could tell Usman did not want to stand up with him, even with a guy who just took the fight on 6 days. He just did not want to stand up on 6 days. He did his job. He mauled him down. Personally, I think he dogged him. I looked at the total strikes. It was 260 to like 80-something.
Yep.
Big margin of error. But if you look at the significant strikes, Usman was about 90-something, and then Masvidal was about 60-something. So I honestly think it was just a lot of points being collisions. So that's what I think. I think Jorge Masvidal, in a sense, proved to the UFC that he could recognize he could get a lot of money through pay-per-views, because if you guys saw it just now, 1.3 million pay-per-views were bought to watch this fight. So Jorge Masvidal is money. And the UFC definitely cannot get rid of that guy, because he's just another Conor McGregor in this sport and in this industry, and he's going to bring them a lot of revenue. So I honestly think what's next for Jorge Masvidal, I just saw Kobe and Woodley are in the talks. That's bullshit, bro. That's fucked up. Give Kobe, give Masvidal, let them scrap it. It's time. But you want to put Woolley and still give that guy a chance? I don't agree with that. That's fuck. You got what? You got to put Burns and Usman against each other. Simple as that. So there's only one person right now that you're gonna have to give Masvidal, and that's fucking Edwards, bro. 3-piece in the shoulder, coming at you fucking live, and it's coming at you in the octagon this time. Go ahead, you guys light me up now. Bring it.
You want to go, or should I roast him first?
I mean, I can go if you want. I can go first.
I'll piggyback up.
I will say I wouldn't. I'm not gonna roast you, man. You know, I knew it was coming. I don't gotta be cocky about it. I knew what was gonna happen. I watched it happen. You know, most people that think like a normal analyst, you know, knew this was gonna happen.
Biased asshole, huh?
But you might not like the fighting style. You can bash him all you want for him being boring, for him not being fast paced. His game plan it works. He stuck to it. He did it to perfection. Didn't stray from it at all. Not much you can do when you know you're outmatched in an entire area. And you know he's gotten you into that way, and you're getting sucked into it. So
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I can't agree with you anymore. Definitely.
All right, Nick, I have something to tell you. First off, don't ever compare Jorge Masvidal to Conor McGregor again. That's disrespectful. Like, don't ever compare him again. He's a wannabe. He wishes he was Conor.
Dude, he
okay?
just put up
he
the
same robe, trying to get his attention, and then he's gonna make an alcohol brand. Okay, you're a wannabe Conor McGregor. You ain't Conor. And then, second of all, did I not tell you that Usman was going to fit? I said 50-44. But he 50-45 them. So, like, you know, dude, like, styles make matchups. I think Jorge Masvidal is a great stand-up boxer, and he's got great takedown, like, defense. But Usman is just too big, too strong. I don't know who's going to beat him. You're going to have to knock him out. But Jorge Masvidal on 6 days, doesn't matter, 6 months, 6 years, not beating him.
Dude.
Yes, sir.
Right, Nick, I hate to break your heart, but
Preach.
the man did get mauled.
All right, guys. Mauled would be when he fought Kobe. All right, let's take it. Let's give it that. 6 days notice. I know it's not too much to go by, but bro, your cardio compared to training for a fight for 6 weeks, the cardio is just not comparable, bro. You can see that first round, Masvidal brought it to Usman. I know you guys want to complain and say he didn't, but I saw Usman. I mean, Masvidal took the first round. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm one judge's scorecard. I'm one of them.
Okay,
one of them.
So George's plan was to knock him out in the first, so he got a little tired out. And then Usman does the usual little hug and tug, take him to the ground and start stomping on their toes type thing. And honestly, bro, you give Masvidal a little more camp to at least get his cardio up, to like be able to defend better. Bro, honestly,
come on, dude.
They're not on the same level, bro.
Yeah, I know. Usman's way better.
Oh yeah.
Like,
all right,
give Masvidal like a training, man. Like, give him some time to like.
Them.
I'm gonna touch base. I'm gonna touch base on one thing. I'm gonna touch base. There's the
Sorry, Miami boys. Stop being so biased.
Look, I'm not being biased no more. You're right. You got me. You beat me. Okay. At the end of the day, on the paper, I'm 4 for 5, just like you. All right. So we're tied right now.
5 for 5.
No, fuck that. We're 4 for 5. That's what the paper
you
says.
You said 5 for 5 on the group chat.
4 for 5. It's 4 for
5 for 5.
We're tied, buddy. Me and you don't see now. Guess what?
Yeah, we're not tied till
4
next
for 5
week.
over here.
No. Fuck, you guys are 3 for 5, so don't even bring yourself in.
No, I'm 4 for 5. 4 for 5.
I didn't even say anything, bro.
You put Van Zandt.
I want to page to win. She's a really pretty lady.
That's my one loss.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, you're right. 4 for 5. And then Chris is 3 for 5.
But, yeah, Ragdoll. 50-45 them. Didn't win a round.
Whatever.
Like I told you.
I'm saying. Go ahead. Go. Hit your take. Because I'm going to compare him to Conor McGregor.
I already said my piece. I told you. He was just like.
This is reason why I said. This is the reason why I said that he's compared to Conor McGregor. I'm not saying fighting style. Conor McGregor definitely does bring
disrespectful.
Dude, don't.
Journeyman, 50 losses.
Come on, dude. Come on. Conor McGregor has a bunch of losses under his belt too. I mean, not so much like Jorge.
4?
He's got 4. That's 4. And it's not an undefeated Conor, just like an
Yeah.
Usman who has like 1 loss. It's not like Khabib who has 0 losses, but nobody wants to talk about those guys, huh? But hold up. This is what I'm saying,
4
the
compared to 40.
comparison. Look, out of that division, who in the hell wants to see? I'm not even trying to bash these guys, but you already know it. Jorge Masvidal brings it. Nate Diaz brings it. Yes, Gilbert Burns will probably hate me for saying all this shit, but it's true. Those guys is what gets this UFC pop. You saw this whole lead up with a whole week just Masvidal jumping in. Everybody was hyped to watch this fight. Even if you, as a real analysis and as a real guy who knows both styles, trust me, I went in on this podcast, Masvidal fan, big bias Miami guy. Every day I was like, fuck, man, I hope he wins because it's going to suck. If he wins, I look like a genius. You know, I'll be completely different. I'll be through the fucking roof right now. But aside from that, Masvidal does bring a lot of revenue in that division. He's probably the biggest guy on that division right now in sense of like bringing, you know, just getting the fans more involved, selling pay-per-views, 1.3 million pay-per-views. That speaks for itself. So you got to give that man a lot of credit because, first of all, he stuffed less than 50% of the takedowns against a man who's just known to just maul you, you know, very similar to Khabib, you know, in that type of sense, you know. Bring you down, suffocate you, just haul you over, and that's it. That simple as that. So I definitely think Jorge Masvidal needs to get maybe 1 to 2 wins on his belt in the top 3, top 5 in that welterweight. I'll definitely give him Edwards since we're already seeing Kobe and Woodley. I don't agree with that. That's fucking bullshit.
That fight needs to happen. It really does. And then, you know,
If Kobe gets knocked out, then you got to give Woodley to Masvidal. Or
come on,
the winner.
come on.
You got to give Edwards Masvidal.
Kobe's going to beat the shit out of Woodley, and then he's going to beat the shit out of Masvidal. I promise you.
Chill out, bro. What are you talking
man.
about,
That's
man?
dude, come on.
Oh, man.
Come on.
We got to get a camp in there first.
Listen to this. It was 2-2 going into the 5th round for
He had a
Kobe.
camp. He had a camp.
Like, come on.
He had a camp, and he actually stood in there and wanted to strike with Kobe because he couldn't fucking.
Masvidal brought in Bo Nickel from Penn State, a national champion wrestler. He's been training for Usman for a minute. Okay, maybe he took a couple weeks. Maybe he took a couple weeks off, but bro, he knew he's been fighting Usman for a while.
Yeah, but it's not the same. You don't know you're fighting July 11th.
He's still gonna get worked. It does not matter, bro.
Whatever. You know what? We're just gonna have to wait and see. I definitely see Masvidal having to fight Edwards now.
You're gonna keep waiting because he might even lose to Edwards. You know, like
What?
We're gonna have to fucking see, bro. We're gonna have to see. I'm done. I'm not gonna get biased no more because when I get biased, it just gets off. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and now I gotta start being real because I had a lot of people hitting
stop
bullshit.
being biased too, bro.
It's all right. 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 You know what? I'm gonna let Masvidal do his talking and, you know, prove what he's got to prove. He definitely is gonna have to get Edwards, and then you're gonna have to put Burns and Usman. And I'm excited to see that fight also, Usman and Burns. I think that's a very good fight in the sense that Burns might be probably be the hardest fight skill wise, style wise for Usman.
Listen, I really think that the next in that division, the next, you know, best, wrestler and even, you know, fighter, you know, Burns is up there. He might even even have the edge on against Usman in the wrestling department. It might be up for judgment, but I could see the case for that. So it's going to be a clash of similar styles, and I you know, you're saying that he might not bring in as much money as Jorge Masvidal did, but I really think that, you know, people that know UFC, they want to see that fight, especially the fact that it was canceled once. There was all this buildup, and, you know, people know that it's going to happen again. I think people are going to, you know, more people are going to be, you know, maybe not more, but, you know, similar amount of people want to watch that fight.
I think Burns is definitely the guy, in my opinion. Just like you said, I totally agree. He's the man to beat Usman. He's got all the skills. He's got the BJJ. He's got the – I think his striking is a little bit way better than Usman in that sense. Yeah, he has it all. And then, you know, as you saw, you know, besides Masvidal not getting taken down, the biggest problem that I saw in that fight is just defending the clinch. getting away from the clinch. And I think Burns has a lot of skill set to defend that, push off, or even not even get off of it, fight against it. Because that was the biggest issue, in my opinion, when I was watching that fight. Because if they stood up, Usman did not want to stand up, but he fought his game plan, did what he needed to do, and that's simple as that. At the end of the day, every striker's worst nightmare is a wrestler. It's simple as that. It's it sucks for the fans, but as a UFC, and this at the end of the day, this is UFC, this is MMA. Everything goes. If it's fucking freestyle, if it's karate, if it's wrestling, if it's jiu-jitsu, if it's fucking judo, everything goes. So however you win that fight, you're able to defend yourself and win it on the judges' scorecard. At the end of the day, as much as sometimes I don't like to say it, it is what it is. Wrestlers are the champs.
Honestly, I'm excited to see Usman versus Burns because I want to see how that whole little used to be partners and all that, how that goes. Because you know how they know each other's game a little bit. That's why Usman had to go to Colorado now for this last camp, thinking that he was gonna fight Burns. So let's see how well they really do know each other.
It's definitely a fight to make. You got to make that fight, and you got to make it happen.
So,
any final thoughts on today's shows? Any final comments?
Me, Jake, and Frank are tied at 4 apiece on the main card predictions. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't care if Max got robbed anymore because at the end of the day, the board is tied for first place. Yeah, man. Nick, Frank, Jake, we're right there next to each other. Chris right there creeping up, climbing up on a rope. But first, that's all I got to say. End the podcast. Cut me up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. KTFO segment number 2. We'll come back at you live next big fight. Love you.
Just a quick comment to you guys. There was actually a lot of compliments for you guys the first time that we did the episode last week. A lot of love for you guys. So great job. Great job, guys. Nala, we'll see you next time, guys.
Tool bags up, baby. Like, plus subscribe.
Hashtag it, baby. So another great episode right there by the KTFO crew. Nick, Chris, Jake, and Frank. Frank had a lot to say, had a lot to get off his chest. And it is true. I mean, he should have gone 5 for 5. Max Holloway did get robbed there. But it is what it is. Again, huge shout out to these guys. We will be back with another segment of KTFO very, very soon. That's all for this one here. Don't forget, as Nick was yelling out there at the end, like and subscribe to the podcast. Like this episode. We are again on YouTube. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. And we are on iHeartRadio. Like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm signing off.